It's been a while since I've done some mobile phone waterfall photography, so today I thought I'd correct that. I've come to the Northern Peak District today to walk the Severn Waterfalls walk, a walk that I've not done previously because I wasn't aware this location existed, so I'm quite excited to explore this new area today. I have to be honest, I'm not 100% sure if I'm actually following this walk correctly, as I didn't download the directions. I just sort of glanced over the route, looked at the map and made my own route around, which I think is fairly close to the route that's supposed to be walked. I've parked next to Arnfield Reservoir, which is just behind me there. I got some free on-road parking. It's a little cosy by the road. And what I'm doing first, I'm going to go for more of a northerly approach around this area before finishing off down a permissible track. The area I'm walking around is called Arnfield Brook, and there's supposed to be a number of cascades along this brook, hence the name, the Severn Waterfalls Walk. As you can see, today is a very overcast day. There isn't much sunlight about, and for me, these conditions are absolutely perfect for the photography that I'm intending to capture today. The waterfalls, hopefully, are behind this farm and on the moorlands up there, and that's going to be a very exposed location. The trouble is, when the sun comes out and you're trying to photograph these scenes, the shadows can get quite harsh, but with this overcast sky, hopefully everything will stay nice and flat and it'll be a lot easier to photograph. So this is a set of very remote and rather freaky sheds. This is the only one that's open at the moment, and although it's probably not shown up on camera, I can assure you it's very trashed in here. Lots of plastic bottles on the floor, and it looks like these containers here are being used for some form of rainwater collection for a local farmer possibly. Really interesting but spooky location nonetheless though. Definitely a location that's given me horror movie vibes, very spooky, these two sheds out in this remote location. I have to say, when I went up to that door handle there to see if the door would open, I was a little apprehensive to what I was going to find on the other side of the door, but thankfully it's locked. I'm going to continue on with my hike now and hopefully find some waterfalls. Behind me here you might be able to see the crease in the hill, and it's down into the valley we're going to be heading now to hopefully find some waterfalls. As we're getting to the halfway point of this hike, I don't really want to photograph some waterfalls because after all that is the intention of this walk, and fingers crossed it's not going to get any more weirder than it has already. About halfway down the valley now, and just following this little mini sheep path, cattle path, whatever it is, as it goes alongside the valley here. It's looking absolutely stunning down there. Just up there, just past this tree that's absolutely full of red berries, we've got this beautiful heather, and you may be able to hear the water flowing at the bottom here. I've had a quick glance at it and it looks like that treacle marmite water that you get in the Peak District after heavy rainfall. I'm really quite excited to try and get an image once I've managed to get down there. It's just a case of somehow getting down to that base, but once I'm down there I'm really hopeful of getting a nice image. So eventually, after lots of puffing and puffing, through the bracken, through the heather, and now down into the valley, and have found my first waterfall. I don't know how accessible all these waterfalls are going to be on this trail, but I'm thankful now that I'm down here and I'm down near a more usable path as well. Apologies for my framing, it's a little bit cozy down there. But as you can see, I've got my phone set up ready for the first shot. I'm going for a landscape one here. What I'm really liking about this composition is these rocks at the bottom here. With the water flowing through these rocks, there's not really that much that will come out in an image, but I'm using these rocks as a little bit of a foreground at the bottom of the image, just to sort of sit at the bottom of the composition, which I feel works really well, which is in otherwise a very high contrast scene, especially with this dark water here. Moving up, we've got the star of the image, obviously the waterfall itself. I decided to place that in the center for this composition, but I think it works well, surrounded by all the vegetation. One thing I am a little bit disappointed about though is the purple heather. I can see it with my own eyes here, but it's not looking like it's coming out in the composition on the back of my phone, at least very bright, vibrant, or not as vibrant as I hope it would do. I'm going to take this shot now. Now normally you could take this shot handheld. I'm just using a tripod just to make it easier for me, basically to set up the composition, and hopefully I get a slightly better quality image as well. Set up the 3-second timer and take the shot. Now as the water is so dark and treacly and peaty, I'm not really seeing a need at the moment to use a polarizer. There's a little bit of glare on the water, but I don't want the polarizer to induce any more contrast than I've already got in the scene. I think to send this totally dark would probably send the image a bit overkill and a bit sort of over the top and sort of less natural. For the next one, I'm going to go vertical, and then I'm going to switch to the wide angle lens and try and include this tree at the top, just about here. I'm just using the rule of thirds to line up the two main elements that I want to highlight in this composition. The waterfall there and the tree up there.
Miles offshore, nothing's breakable. A never-ending kiss I need to find. 'Cause I'm a fragile soul, a dandelion. To keep me safe, I need you by my side. Bring me all your love, 'cause you can save my world. Your light is what it feels the sun, and once you're done.
It's so nice to be walking on a proper path once more, plus heading downhill as well. This path leads all the way to that waterfall that I just photographed. It's just that I took a rather difficult route to get to that particular waterfall, and I can hear more waterfalls at the side of me here down in the valley, but they're not as accessible as that last one was. So I think as I photographed the waterfall, which was my intention for this trip, I'm going to call it quits and carry on walking down this path back to the car. As always, thank you very kindly for watching, and hopefully I will see you again. Goodbye.